Welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of Steelers Dynasty Podcast. I'm your host, Bad Bubba Brewer, and my special field correspondent, Shane Stodmiller. Shane, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, Bubba, and can't wait for the show to start. We're going to talk something a little bit different about the great Western Pennsylvania, a la Pittsburgh, Butler County's finest is going to be on here, and we're going to talk a little bit about an organization that's near and dear to my heart.
And everybody, just stay tuned because it's very interesting, and we got a lot of stuff going on tonight on the show. So stay tuned to Steelers Dynasty Podcast. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, Shane, because I know we had him in the green room and we're talking, and I'm honored that we got him, and thanks to you, Shane. You're out here, networking and doing whatever. But I want you to introduce our guest this evening. I will give you some cues, and here's the logo, and also the event that's coming up on September 28th. So go ahead, Shane. Introduce our special guest this evening.
So, for the past, 2 weeks, we've been mentioning this Sportsman's Bash, and, letting people know that there's tickets. It's for a great organization. We finally get to have the founder, the president of It's All About the Warrior, Steve Monteleone, on tonight, and he's going to talk about his experience starting it to what they're doing now and how they help the veterans. And I was one of those veterans about 10 years ago. I had a health scare.
That's what you said that one time on the show. You said that.
It helped me out, and it literally changed the direction, I think, of my and my family's lives. And I've said that numerous times, and I believe it. He'll give you the percentage, but if you call them, they pick up. It's not like one of these, I'm not going to mention the other organizations, but they're a bunch of shitheads. You call them, they give you a brochure or a flyer. They'll help the veteran. They'll literally get that guy or girl in the right direction and help them out. So, guys, without further ado, here's Steve.
Steve, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. You guys are cracking me up. I'm not that relaxed. Holy cow. appreciate the compliments.
Yeah.
No. With a charity like that, and I'm sure it takes a lot of work. So my hats are off to you because it's probably 24/7.
Oh, that's what I've been doing all day until you guys haven't come on the podcast. It never ends. Never ends.
Take a week off. You're still snapping pictures. You're kissing babies, pressing the flesh. You're like the man about town. Like I think I ran into you at the VA. That's what we were talking about. But I'll see you like you're in the same area, the vicinity of me. So I see you in Saxonburg. I see you in Butler. I see you, sometimes driving down towards Pittsburgh,
right.
Where your one office is. But it's
you can't miss me in that truck.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna look, everybody. And I did that. I tell you what, man. Look at this truck, ladies and gentlemen. You can't get more badass than that right there. That is badass.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Hey, I saw you over here. I saw you over there." I'm like, "Okay, great." So I just came back from. I had to go to a road trip to Boston, and I was stationed in Griffiths Air Force Base in Rome, New York. So I was up there. Then I went to Boston. Then I went to Sig Sauer Academy and did some. Shooting stuff with some special forces guys, and came back. And the whole time I was there, people were beeping at my truck. It's an awesome truck, so you can't miss me, fellas.
Well, at least they know, everybody knows you're coming when you're pulling in.
Yeah. They're like, "Hey, I saw this truck." I go, "Yeah, I'm the only person that drives the truck." So that was me.
Yeah.
And I always have to apologize to the state police because I'm flying up and down 79, and they don't care. They just wave at me, go, just keep going.
Steve, did they give you like a special treatment there to get in front of you, get the lights a little bit, maybe sometimes?
No, I never done that. We did have a police officer die in May. A friend of mine, he had cancer, Rob Kurtzop from Hampton, and I was in the procession.
Okay.
And that was about it. I'm not looking for special treatment. I always tell them, hey, if I'm speeding, pull me over, And
Oh, you hold yourself accountable. That's pretty
yeah,
good.
that's all. Yeah, exactly right.
Freedom fighter mobile.
So John is one of our regulars, and he's a retired colonel.
Yeah.
And he's on here we have a few regulars. We're not a huge. So Steve, let me tell you about our podcast. So Bubba had a professional wrestling. Well, he reopened it. So he had his first event, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, June 22nd. Yeah, at lovely S&T Bank Arena in Indiana. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
And then so he does a wrestling pop culture show on Fridays.
Right.
He was doing a Steelers show for the past couple of years on Wednesdays, but the algorithm was ignoring the Steelers stuff.
Yeah, they don't register. So
we're on a show on occasion called Steelers Nation Australia, and the guy is rarely Australian. He does not guy from Turtle Creek with a
and the reason why Mark from Steelers Nation got into podcasting, and because his love of the Steelers is because he's a huge Debo fan. That's what got him hooked up in Australia. So if you ever in your journeys, if you ever see Debo, you need to tell him that
Australian that is absolutely he's flying in Christmas. So anyway,
here's the thing with James Harrison. He's in our office all the time.
Oh.
So I see him all the time. He cracks me up. He's a damn big, number one.
Oh yeah,
and I'll explain to you why he's in the office. Like once I get into the programs, why he's there. Yeah. But he's not obviously not a veteran. But our office is just not for veterans. It's for people in the civilian community as well. But I could maybe I could get him an autographed shirt or something.
There he is. He said, "Tell him he's a legend."
There he is, right there. So Mark from Steelers Nation Australia said you and Bubba need to do your own show because mostly we just bullshit, talk about different pizza recipes and stuff, but different places to eat. But so Mark is the catalyst of why we have this show. So
that's awesome. Yeah, Hey, tell Mark I can get him an autographed jersey. I see Harrison probably once a week.
Oh, there you go. He's probably ecstatic in Australia right now.
Yeah.
We usually do a collaboration every Wednesdays. He does his show, we do our show, and then it just I think today he took the week off, but he's got 2,500 subscribers to his show.
Wow, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I could show you a picture if I could find it, how big he is compared to me.
Oh my God, we got to see this.
He said he'll buy you a beer, Steve.
They can do. I don't need a beer, man. I donate stuff all the time to people, man. I'm just here to help.
Well, he's coming. He's coming to Pittsburgh on Christmas. He's going to the Kansas City game.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. Go ahead. You guys still talk. Let me see if I can.
No, you're good. There it is. There's his address.
Well, it's funny because a buddy of mine, Paul Stanley, played professional basketball in Australia back in the late 80s, early 90s, and he lived in Tasmania, and he's the one that makes the hats for us.
Oh,
and
nice.
He's actually going there. I don't know when he's going, but he's going back for a reunion. It's kind of weird talking about Australia. Your guy, talking about my guy.
Yeah, it's a small world. Steve.
Yes,
it's a small world.
Let's see if I can find this picture. You got, like I said, you can still talk. I just got to see if I can find
it. No.
Steve, as we went to, so he was the catalyst for this show, but also he's our translator if we ever get to interview the punter that looks like Bill Burr. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, I have seen that. You're right.
Forgotten State of Australia.
Yes, the Forgotten State. Another thing is Harrison's son plays on our football team. He's not playing
position? What position do you play?
Linebacker. He's tough as nails too.
Ooh.
But the problem is he can't play this year. He's kind of getting redshirted because he blew out something in his shoulder, not like a rotator cuff for your labrum. It was something. It was pretty bad, and so he just had major surgery, and he can't play this year. But he's coming back next year. Tough kid.
Mini Debo. That's what Mark called him.
Oh, that kid. I can tell you this. He's just like his dad. I think last year he took 5-6 personal foul penalties.
In one game or just
the whole year? The whole year. The one kid ran out of bounds and he just boom. And
Same height as James is. Is he the same height?
No, he's a little smaller than James, but he's still young. He's only in I think 10th grade.
Oh
10th?
Man, wow!
Oh my God!
But
and knowing Debo, he's probably got him in the gym lifting and
he told me so Debo was in our office one day and he gets IV ozone and I get it. What IV ozone is? They put an IV in you and they take the blood out of you and they put it in a 300 milliliter bag. And then they put an extra oxygen molecule in your blood and they shake it up and it turns bright red. And then they send it through an ultraviolet light and it goes back in you. And what it does, it gets the mitochondria going in your cells and it gets them rejuvenated and it keeps them going. And it's good for like healing because you see James Harrison on his Instagram, he's squatting like 1,000 pounds. And
yeah,
so he's in there all the time doing that and just different things. So he's in there. I do it every 10 days. He's in there like once a week.
Wow.
He's a beast. He cracks me up. He's so big.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. You're right. Debo's the best corner Steelers ever had because of that 99-yard touchdown to the house in the Super Bowl.
I always bust his chops. I'm like, hey, why did it take you so long? I'd have been scored, no problem.
What do you say on that?
He gives you that snarl like he's going to kill you. I'm like, dude, I'd have been there. You're so slow. He just looked at me like he's going to kill me.
Oh, that's funny.
He's a great dude, though.
Oh, hey, Freight Train, how you doing? Thanks for coming on from Steelers Realm Podcast.
Mark also had Kurt Warner respond back to him on Twitter.
Oh, did he really?
On that interception.
Yeah, talking about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, like I said, we have at North Allegheny, we have a ton of Steel. Aaron Smith's kid played for us. I'm real good friends with him. Jeremy Tooman, the Porters. Chris Hoke's kid plays now, and he's a beast. He's only a junior. Like that kid's a beast.
So, Steve, what coach position do you coach?
I was a running backs coach, and then I would coach linebackers too. But I've been coaching high school football for a long time. So I coached when I was in New York, when I was stationed at Griffiths Air Force Base in upstate New York as a B-52 base, and it's closed now. I started up there at Rome Free Academy and on the base. And then when I came home, I didn't coach a couple of years because my kids were little. And then Butler has a midget program. We used to have a midget program, and there were 6 to 7 teams, and we played each other. That's how big Butler is. Mm-hmm. And I took one of the teams over, and then I really didn't want to do the high school thing, go back to that because it's a ton of time.
Uh-huh.
So the high school coach up here at Butler at the time asked me to come up and coach wide receivers and running backs. So I went up, and he lasted a year, got fired. The new guy came in, and I was the offensive coordinator there for 3 years. He got fired. And then I just said, okay, I'm out of here. So I went to Penn Hills, and then I was there, offensive coordinator there for a while. And then I've been at North Allegheny for, I don't even know how long, to be honest. But
that's a powerhouse of a team. I remember North Allegheny, like pretty much my whole life, you know, just being a powerhouse.
I mean, it's just an unbelievable. I mean, you have a coaching staff. It's just unbelievable. Every coach on that staff could be a head coach in the WPIAL, and they're very organized, very committed. And you got to give credit to the kids, the school, and the community because they're all in.
Yeah, the people program too.
Yeah, and they got a great feeder program. And people say, well, why are they so good at everything they do? Because everybody's like, I hate North Allegheny. I go, why? Because they win?
That's why they hate them.
Yeah, that's why they win. I'm like, well, if you do what they do and you see what they do, like those kids put 100% into the classroom, their sports, and their community, and the parents and the school does. I can't describe it, and that's why they're good at everything they do. And I try to tell these people up here at Butler, where I'm from, you need to see what North Allegheny does and take that model with you. But they look at me like, I'm Freddy Krueger or something. I mean, it's just I don't get it. But it is what it is.
Are they afraid that they don't want that blueprint to be a winner?
I don't know what it is. I mean, honestly, I put in for that job to take the head coaching job, and they said no because they wanted a teacher that was in the school. And I get it. But at the same time, I believe I had more experience, and I was going to bring other coaches with me. And that's fine. I get it. But I'm in a better place. And, hey, we won 2 WPL championships in a row. I'm old, and it's like, okay, let's take a step back and let the young kids go in there. And I'm just this year I'm like the film analyst. So
okay, well, you got to get good film. You got to have good film.
yeah, I love watching film. I watch film like I have no life, dude. I'm old, and
well, you're very busy.
Yeah, my kids are older or gone. I got grandkids for God's sakes, and so I just, when I come home at night, if I'm not doing the foundation stuff, which that never ends, I'll watch film for an hour, and break it down for them and go from there. But it keeps me busy, right?
Well, it seems like you never have a day off.
No, I don't. But you know what? One day I'll have a day off, but it is what it is.
Well, how did you start this foundation?
I started the foundation. To be honest with you, I was golfing at Old Stonewall Golf Club in Elwood City. I don't know if you've ever been there before. Beautiful. It's rated the #1 public course in Pennsylvania. It's in Elwood City. Beautiful course. And I was just golfing with 4 buddies of mine. And the golf pro there, Sean Swedinsky, is a friend of ours. He's from Butler too. And I just kind of threw it at him. I'm like, hey, being a veteran, I just wanted to give back. And I said, what do you guys think we just have a golf outing here and give money to the Wounded Warrior Project, which is a huge national organization? Mm-hmm. And we're like, okay, let's do it. So we put it together. We had 35, 40 teams.
Wow.
We had a band come from Texas to play. We had, all these VIPs and the wounded guys. Raised about, I want to say, $50,000.
This is just you and your buddies thinking about this when you guys were playing golf.
Yeah, and the thing about my buddies is they're not even veterans. They love me because I'm a veteran, and just we've been friends forever. And as soon as I said it, they're like, "Let's go, let's do it." So we talked to Sean at Stonewall, and Sean's grandfather was in the Army, and he loved the idea, and it just took off, and we couldn't believe the response we got. And so we raised about $50,000, and the one thing about the Wounded Warrior Project, it kind of turned me off because I wasn't allowed to use their logo. I wasn't allowed to do this or that. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep the money here. So we opened up an account, and I was a teacher and coaching high school football, like you just heard. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of evolved. And then I worked for the government. I was a GS-11 at an outreach program called Starbase Atlantis through the Department of the Navy. And it kind of evolved, and they walked in July of 2013 and said, hey, we don't have any more money for this program, so we're going to cut this program. So you're either going to go back to the public school, find another job in the government system, which I don't want nothing part of, and or you could, in my mind, I could start this foundation, which I had started, but I wasn't getting paid. It was real small at the time.
Right.
So I lost that position, and I asked my wife. I said, "Hey, I'm getting a year's severance from the government. What do you think I try to pound the pavement to make this thing blow up?" I just, for some reason, maybe it's God's intervention or whatever. I had this feeling come across me like this could work. So I hit the pavement. The first thing I did, I hit the media. I got on WDVE, which is the biggest radio station in Pittsburgh. I got on Froggy Radio. I'm really good friends with Danger from Froggy Radio, Larry Richard from KDKA. Some of the TVs to Ashley Doherty from Channel 4, Ryan Recker from Channel 4. And it kind of evolved and Sally Wiggin from Channel 4. And they kind of like the concept of, hey, let's keep the money in the area and help the tri-state area guys. So you got Western PA, Eastern Ohio, and Northern West Virginia. So they like the concept, and it just started to evolve. And again, we don't have a whole lot of money. We're a small nonprofit, man. I don't go for any grants because I don't want nothing to do with the government. I've tried grants before, and I can't get them. It's just good old hard fashion work, events and donations. That's how we're funded. So it just kind of evolved into this pretty neat little foundation for and we're post 9/11 veterans. Some of the older guys get kind of upset at me, but I'm like, fellas, look, if I had more money, I would help every veteran I can, but we just don't have money.
Right.
And it evolved, and we didn't have a whole lot of. I'll be quite honest with you. I was teaching a STEM program, science, technology, engineering, and math at school. So I was kind of a science dork, and all of a sudden I'm starting this nonprofit. I had no idea what I was doing. None. Like, I'm like, holy cow. So I started researching, calling other people, and they kind of helped me out, and it just started to evolve. And it's I think about it now. I just kind of chuckle. Some of the friendships and partners that we have with the organization. And again, we're a small nonprofit, don't have a lot of money, but we try to do the best we can.
Wow. And everybody that you mentioned in the media is, I mean, you got 15 people in the media that you just named off that are big and you know what I mean? That I know.
Yeah.
And they just come and they just said, "Hey, Steve, we're going to help you out." And,
this and that. They did. Some of them reached out to me, but I reached out to them. I just kind of, like I said, I pounded the pavement, and people don't realize I made a lot of sacrifices. I wasn't home a lot. My wife didn't like that. And I told her I'm just trying to build this thing up so I could get it paid. I wasn't getting paid. Okay. So in like 2015, maybe, I approached the board at the end of my severance, and my dates might be off. I can't remember. I said, "Hey, look, I got to get some kind of small little salary out of this, and we don't have a whole lot of money, or we can't do this." And they're all like, "Hey, look, this thing's starting to take off. How about if we give you this?" And it was a real small. It was. I'll be honest. I'll tell you. I don't care. I was making 85 as a GS11, and I went down to $40,000. So I took a $45,000 pay cut. And again, just so everybody knows, I don't do this for money, and I still make a nice. I still, to this day, and again, it's public knowledge, I make $65,000 a year. A lot of people, you make six figures and drive around in a truck. No. I make 65, and the truck was donated. So everything is transparent. I don't want to go to prison, even though I look like a prisoner half the time. The goatee and the tattoos, But, I guess the shirt doesn't help either. But I just very transparent. That's all.
Well, it seems like I don't know you, and I've never met you till tonight. But you just seem so forward and honest. Like,
I'm brutally honest. I'm brutally honest, as you can ask the veterans. I'm brutally honest. Like,
there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great strength, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to Steve. He's a guy that he won't say much. He'll just sit there and watch. But if you ask for his opinion, he'll let you know with both barrels, right, Steve?
Absolutely. Like, I've learned from a lot of people. And then being a leader. When I was in the military too, I was a leader. I was in charge of, and again, I was Air Force. I was in charge of a lot of airmen, and I always learned from my colonel, my commander. He said, "Monteleone," he goes, "just sit back and let them talk, take it all in, and at the end, you voice your opinion." So that's how I do it. I just sit there and I listen. And I'm a person that believes in, like, I'm a huge, massive person on communication and collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
These people that don't communicate, everything goes down. Like, communication is huge to me. Matter of fact, I just sent out an email right before we get on here to probably over 200 veterans. Hey, I'm big on communicating, because I send emails and I don't get a response, and that kind of irritates me. I'm like, just answer me back. I know you have your phone. I know you have your email.
I get that too. I get irritated too.
I'm like, it's called communication, and I'm a big on collaboration. Like, I have a great board of directors. I have a couple committees doing certain programs, and the one thing I don't micromanage and let them do their thing. I said, all I ask is you communicate with me, and please let me know what's going on, because I don't need to be caught off guard or get a curveball from somebody calling me complaining about something. That's all. And I keep things very simple. There's no red tape. If somebody wants to sign up with this, again, they have to be a post 9/11 veteran, and they have to have an honorable discharge. Mm-hmm. If you don't have an honorable discharge, we can't help, because it's in our bylaws.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Somebody just said you're going to be an honorable podcast host here. You're going to be
no, awesome. But it's good. I think God put us on this earth, and I've been telling people this, and I don't know how religious you guys are, and I'm not Mr. Bible pusher here, but God put us on this earth to love each other and help each other.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be evil to each other. I just, like, today's world, I just sit here and shake my head like, can we go back to the 1983 when I was in high school? I mean,
yeah, I feel you, Steve. Yep.
Everything was easy. I went out and played all day. Like, you saw your buddies. If you got in a fight, you beat each other up. Next day, you were buddies again.
Yep.
Nowadays, I got to carry a gun. I've had death threats. With organization, from the Mujahideen, and it's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I wish we could go back to the 80s.
Yeah, can we go back to the 80s?
Yeah,
music was better.
No, we're not bringing back the 90s, Mark. 80s, the 80s.
Well, hey, I'll go back to 90. I don't care, but
I will too. I mean, the music was bad.
Oh yeah.
That's what I got to be 21 and do some crazy stuff that hopefully, thank God, cell phones weren't around. But, I know Mark asked a question, and I want to get it here before we go somewhere else. This is a question for you.
Yeah.
Would you rather fight 2 male kangaroos or James Debo Harrison after the 90-yard interception during the Super Bowl?
James Harrison. I've seen 2 kangaroos. They're like real. Although, hey, Mark, I want to come to Australia.
Oh, there you go.
That would be awesome.
There you go.
So how long?
Yeah,
how long?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. How long the organization it was started to now? How many years have you been
doing
it?
It started technically. I started with the golf outing in 2011, but when we got our nonprofit status, it was April of 2013. So it's been 11 years.
Nice. Yeah, Shane has talked so much about this organization numerous times on this podcast when he told the story about what happened.
Yeah, again, we're just here to help, and get involved. We always tell our veterans, like, another thing I just said on the email is you signed up to get involved in an organization, but you never come around. Like, I don't understand that. So, and I realize everybody's busy. They have kids. Mm-hmm. I get that. But why did some guys sign up that you never see them? So,
I'll tell you what, I block off the August, and now it's September. It used to be October, the Sportsman's Bash.
Sportsman's Bash, yeah.
I it doesn't matter. Like, I remember my kid had a football game, and I'm like, I'm working it, and I made it, like.
Yep.
Speaking of it, right there it is.
There it is.
Real quick, and we'll plug it later again in the show. So.
It's September 28th at the Pepsi Roadhouse in Burgettstown. It's a great time. We got 2 live bands. And again, we'll plug it later, but it's a great time. And that's our biggest fundraiser because we have a donor that donates $40,000.
Oh, wow.
That covers all the costs of the are you allowed to say GUNS on this thing? Or
yep.
For the guns and the weapons, and with that $50, you get all the food and all the drinks you can drink from noon to 6. And you got 2 live bands. We got Morgan Gruber. I don't know if you guys watched American Idol a couple years ago. She was one of the finalists on American Idol. And Patrick Giardini and his band. So we could talk about that a little bit later.
Sure. I'm gonna have to tell my dad, because my dad, God bless him, my dad's an ex-Vietnam vet, and my dad gives to, I think he gives to the house. And my
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, can't. I know you're saying.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell my dad. You know what I mean?
But you know what? Look, I'll be honest with you. One thing that I do not do is, if somebody doesn't, I always tell people, do your research on our organization. If you need references, I'll give them to you. Do your research before you make a donation. And if you don't make a donation, I'll still have a beer with you. I'm not one of these guys who's like, F you, you make a donation. That's just dumb. Like, everybody has their own nonprofit. I get it. So it is what it is.
No, my dad doesn't. He's not into this. He's not into technology. He has no clue. He's old school. He's a John Wayne, Clint Eastwood guy. You know what I mean?
Believe me, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Bunch of folks to the website for tickets. So
I put it on the screen. Everybody, go to their website.
How do you get your tickets if you go to the website? Are they sent to you, or do you pick them up at the door?
We send them in the mail at the end of August.
Okay.
You go to iatw.us, and you can go right on, and boom, they're right there on the shop. You go in the shop, and you can buy them for $50. And again, you get all the food and drink for 6 hours. There's $30,000 in prizes on there.
Wow.
We give a prize away every 10 minutes. 2 live bands that donated their time. It's hosted by my man Danger from Froggy Radio. It's a great time. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year. And I got to thank our sponsors. Triple Creek Enterprises for donating $40,000 because that covers a lot of the costs of the weapons, probably about 95% of the cost. So for every, we sell them for 50. So for every $45, that's a profit for us. And again, being a small nonprofit that, you know, maybe brings in 350 to 400,000 a year, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. And anybody that's listening on the Facebook stuff, check them out. Get your tickets. I know a lot of people in Indiana County that I know are like to, you know, buy some gun tickets. I know for a fact that a lot of them. So,
and you don't have to be there to win.
No.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right.
There you go, people. But
Yeah,
if you can go down and party, you can do
Yeah.
that too.
My wife and me left with like 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
You know, left.
Yeah, I remember that.
Call my wife had won because those are the two events I make sure I volunteer. And I don't, you know, like when I volunteer, when my kids played baseball, I wasn't smart enough to coach, so I could work the hot cheese in the concession stand, and I can see t-shirts for Steve, although I'm not as pretty as some of the other girls in the t-shirt booth.
Well, I mean, believe it, we're both gross. I mean, the girls are great, right? I mean, come on. I got all these hot girls working, but it's like, where'd you get these girls at? I'm like, I don't know, just volunteer.
Hey, they donated their time.
Yeah, they donated time. And that's the one thing about the organization is everybody's a volunteer.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people, and even the board members sometimes is like, you should hire somebody. No. Look, I'm good. I got a system. I know what I'm doing. It's all good. I don't want to have any overhead. We have an office in Wexford. It's totally free at no cost with Dr. Tom Burnett in Regeneration Pittsburgh. You know, he's a friend of mine. He's a former flight surgeon, captain. He was in Afghanistan for, I think, 8 months to a year. You know, not only does he help the civilian side, but he helps the veterans as well. Do you guys want to get into like what we do?
Sure.
Yep.
Whatever. It's your show, Steve. We're just here to guide it, brother.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah. No, well, no. Well, if you've ever been on a show, any of my shows sometimes do get scary, but you know, but no, I appreciate you coming on and telling us everybody. So anything you got, please, you know.
I appreciate you having me. I'm trying to find this picture with Debo for Mark because it's in here somewhere. But so anyway, we have a variety of programs. So the one program we have is our therapeutic program in our office in Wexford with Regeneration Pittsburgh, Dr. Tom Burnett, who's a physiatrist. And what happens is our veterans sign up on the website. Again, you got to be a post 9/11 veteran and have an honorable discharge. And look, I've seen 9,000 DD Form 214s. If you don't know what that is, it's your military paperwork. A lot of people try to fool me. I'm like, no, nice try. You know, and what happens is they call Regeneration Pittsburgh for a consultation with Dr. Burnett. So they go in, we pay for the consultation. We pay for everything. It's all free. And they can get a variety of things. They can get trigger point injections, dry needling. He has laser therapy. He has an IV drip room with 6 or 7 different drips. He has a variety of things like IV ozone, that I described earlier, where they take the blood out of you and they run it through a ultraviolet light, and they put an oxygen molecule, and it goes back in. It gets the mitochondria going. He does PRP, which again, they take the blood out, they spin it in a centrifuge. They take the plasma, and say, like I had a torn labrum right here from playing hockey on a hockey team, and he shot that in there, and like 2 weeks it was gone. So it's supposed to heal that area. It's called PRP. It's plasma-rich proteins or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. And then we have, very to the extreme, is stem cells. But that is like a special case if you can get stem cells. And again, there's a budget on every program. And I try to tell these veterans, sometimes they get frustrated. I said, look, there's a small budget. If somebody wrote me a check for $1 million, we could do a lot more, but we don't. So we have to deal with what we got. And on the other side of that therapeutic program is the mental health side. We have a partnership with Sanderson Psychological in Elizabeth, PA, and Washington, PA. And if anybody is having mental health issues, again, none of this costs the veteran anything. They make an appointment, they go down, and we pay for it. They send me the bill, I pay for it. Right now, I think I have 5 veterans, and I have a family. It's a sad story, I can't tell you, but the whole family's in counseling, and we pay for it. So that's the therapeutic program. And then we have a great outdoor program. And this is what Shane knows all about this. Years ago, a friend of mine, Sean Smith, again, not a veteran, he was a corrections officer. He's a huge turkey hunter. He's probably one of the best turkey hunters in the country, to be honest. He used to be part of the National Wild Turkey Federation. And he approached me, years ago, and he said, "What if we started a hunting program with the foundation?" And I'm like, "Oh, that sounds like," because I like to hunt myself. I said, "Yeah, it's a great idea." So it started to evolve. So what happens now is we have outfitters in Wyoming, Texas, Missouri, upstate New York, Ohio, and here in Pennsylvania. We have a lot of areas, and then we're working on Montana and one down in Florida. And what we do is we send our veterans in either 2, 3, 4s, and they go to the ranch or wherever they go hunting, and we pay for everything.
Nice.
We pay for their flights, we pay for the hunts, their food, their lights, everything. So, for example, in November, we're sending 4 veterans out to Wyoming, our ranch in Rusted Oak Ranch in Sundance, Wyoming. Jason Coder, who's a former Army, he's a veteran as well. And they're going out there and they're going whitetail and mule deer hunting for, I think, 6, 7 days. And I go out there every April for like a month and just stay there because those people, we're great friends, and I just go out and I kind of hunt on my own before the veterans get out there, and I just hang out. I'll go to the range across the street and do some shooting and just drive around. If you ever been to Wyoming or South Dakota, it is.
I never have, but
unbelievable. Yeah, I'm telling you, got to go. It's beautiful. And there's so much to do, and there's no traffic. Like, for example, it's funny because Sundance, you'll see 2 cars the whole day because you're on this ranch, and you go into the town of Sundance, and I'm trying to think. It's a little bit. I'm trying to think like where you're at, Bubba, Indiana. It's probably too big. A small city, like a small little city,
like Creekside or Plumville.
Very small.
Okay.
I'm telling you, very small. All it has is a grocery store, a bank, a hardware store, and a post office. That's it.
Probably like Dixonville, Pennsylvania.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know where that's at, but whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like being in Shakora or
there you go.
A real small town, and the people are so friendly, and it's just I can't describe it. And then you come back here, and my office in Wexford, and it's bumper traffic, and I'm sitting in traffic going, "Why am I here?" Like, it's just lines of traffic. You go out there, it's just beautiful. And we go to Texas, we send our guys to Texas to do some turkey hunting. We haven't done any whitetail. Missouri, that is a friend of mine and myself. We own some property in Missouri. We're going to start doing some whitetail hunting out there. We got a lot of areas around here, upstate New York, where I used to live. Got some connections up there. So it's a really neat program. And again, it's all paid for. And what I try to do with that is, and I have a great committee of guys. Sean Smith. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember everybody so they don't get mad at me. LeMade, Chip Myra, Michael Martin, Jason Wiley, Pat Covert, Jason Palka. Who else am I missing? If I miss you, I'm sorry. Brain dead half the time. But anyway, they run that whole thing. They organize it. They schedule the flights, the hunts. I give them the budget. Here's your budget, and they run it. I don't get involved. If they have a question, they'll call and ask me. And we kind of base it off of people volunteering in the organization, and getting really involved in what's going on and helping out. Because all we're asking is you pay it forward a little bit. We're all veterans here. We're all a team, and we're all on the same side. And sometimes it's frustrating because some people don't do that, but it is what it is. But that's that program. And then we have multiple outreach programs. For example, we have a veterans ice hockey team, the Pittsburgh Warthogs.
Oh, nice name.
Yeah, the Warthogs, the A-10. And we travel around the country. For example, in October, we're going to Vegas, playing the 911 Cup, which is kind of like the big national first responder tournament. And we play first responder tournaments. There is you'll find there's warrior hockey out there, which is for all disabled vets, and there's a lot of warrior teams, and they do great stuff, but I just stayed away from that. and I just wanted to play a first responder tournament. So we're going out to Vegas there in October, and then we went to Cincinnati this year, and actually we started our own Heroes Cup this year, right here in Pittsburgh. We had 16 teams around the country come in. Next year we're hoping to make it bigger, even 32 teams.
Where do you guys have? Where'd you have your tournament at, Steve?
Robert Morris University.
Wow.
Robert Morris, and they were great because they have 2 rinks. So we were going to have 2 games, and it went smooth. We had a couple incidents, but I smoothed it over. And with hockey, and I've been playing since I was 5. Played up in upstate New York at a pretty good league, and it's very passionate because here you are in skates and you got a weapon in your hand. Guys are cross checking. You get a little irritated, and I had to go in everybody's locker room and say, "Okay, fellas, look, this is the fundraiser for the Mario Lemieux Foundation, and for It's About the Warrior Foundation." And the Pennsylvania State Police Association. I don't need any fights because the Mario Lemieux Foundation is going to be watching us. Right. And I'm very good friends with Pierre LaRouche and Mario. I golf with them. And, I don't want to.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't want to piss them off,
No.
But it was a great tournament. We raised a lot of money. And that's our ice hockey team. And I think next year we always go to Cincinnati tournament. We'll have our tournament. And I think next year we're going to Dallas. And then we skate around here in the winter a couple times. Maybe
so Steve, is that the only sporting event you guys do with the foundation, or do you guys do softball or something like that? Or everything.
We do softball. We do a lot of golf. At Old Stone, we'll try to go once a month, but sometimes we can't because of the money. We've done it, and the outreach programs for me is more. I'm trying to get the families involved. Trying to get the wives and the kids together, and that's the cool thing. That when I started this, that's the one thing I want, because like Shane will tell you, like when you're in the military, you're around your teammates 24/7. Everything is structured, it's disciplined, but all of a sudden you get out and you're like, what the hell do I do now? And you become a little lost. So I try to bring that back, and I try to get the families involved, because then you see the wives make new friends, the kids make new friends. It's really cool to see that happen. For example, our ice hockey team went to Nashville 2 years ago. We took 20 guys plus their wives plus all their kids. We had a big dinner together, and it was just great to see because all the kids were having fun. The wives were making new friends. And that's what it's about. And we do a variety of other sports. Actually, I'm looking to organize a flag football turkey bowl this year for Thanksgiving at North Allegheny High School. But that could get ugly. I can see it now.
Yeah.
We're going to have the Air Force and the Army together, and the Marines and Navy together. Put the jarheads and the squids together, and the chair force and the grunts. But that could get ugly, I think. I don't want somebody getting broken arms and legs, but they got
to be professional. That's all.
I don't know, but when it comes to competition, these guys are competitive. And one thing we do have too, I forgot to mention, is there's a couple things. We're starting to do a lot of ruck walks on Sundays. If you know what a ruck is, it's like a backpack, and we hump it. We go probably 6 to 10 miles, just walking in the trail, BSing. And again, it's your brain. And Shane will tell you, it's bringing that military lingo back, because the military talks in code. And if I were to ask you what's a QRF, you know what a QRF is? Bubba?
Shane does. I do not. No.
What I mean, QRF, quick reaction force, or an FOP. It's just the military talks in code, so you get that bond because now they can talk in code. Because a lot of our guys have been in combat in Afghanistan and Iraq.
And they miss talking with that code, and they miss talking with the boys and how they talk. Yeah.
And they can they can say, hey, man, I was just this FOP. The QRF came in, and we were here. It's just all code. And then if you have a civilian, like, for example, Ashley Doherty is a board member from Channel 4, and she'll be sitting there, and she's like, what are they talking about? And I started laughing. I said, Ash, it's nothing personal. It's just they're military guys. I'll explain it later. But, but do a lot of sporting events, a lot of get-togethers, a lot of softball. We have a concert in March every year, the Jurgles.
Oh yeah,
okay.
that was. I wish I could have made that one. That was
Well, what I try to do, the one in March is we had one of our veterans was a Hampton police officer,
Yep.
and he had cancer, and I wanted to help the family, so I had a guy, actually the Sweetwater Cottage Band, it's in our planning our event in September. Patrick Giardini's the lead center. He's a veteran, and I talked to him. He's like, yeah, he lined the bands up. They'd all donated their time. We raised $18,000 for that guy.
That's awesome.
Unfortunately, he passed away May 8th.
Yeah.
But the people that were there, I mean, there had to be 700 people jammed into Jurgles. If you ever been to Jurgles, it's
you can't put much more in there than
yeah.
that.
And when I got up on stage to talk and I looked out there, I was like, I mean, I got emotional. And I was like, wow. I mean, because Rob is such a great guy. And it just shows you like the love of the military, the law enforcement, and first responders have for each other. Mm-hmm. And this year or next March, we're having one for James Ashbacher. He's a Marine with the organization. He's a Northern Regional cop, and he has cancer. He's young. He's like 38. And he has like a blood disease, and they only gave him like three years to live. So next year's concert would be for him. So we try to do the best we can. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of working on something for the firefighter, the chief that was killed at Trump rally last week. I'm working on.
Well, please let us know, because I know me and Shane would be more than happy to put stuff out there. I'm all about trying to use this format to actually help and do whatever I can on any of my shows, or like when I do wrestling shows, I try to do some kind of charity for every show. So I mean, I never was into service, but God bless you guys that served. So I'm all about trying to help out. So
absolutely. I mean, I'm working on something. I really can't go into detail about it right now, but I'm working on something to raise money. I mean, I personally donated money to him. He was a reservist. He was a military guy, and anytime I see somebody go down like that, the organization and will donate. I'll donate. I just feel that's the right thing to do. But those are some of the programs we do. And I am very open minded and collaborate. Like if anybody's got any ideas, just throw it at me. And Shane will tell you, I'm open minded. But the bottom line is, I tell everybody, it all comes down to money. You got to have the money to do
it. We had spoke about this, and I don't know if Bubba picked a date, but I know he was considering a time next in the 2025 year that the proceeds from one of his shows.
Oh yeah,
because we did Teddy Bear Fund Drive last show.
Yeah.
So
that'd be awesome. Yeah,
it'd be in Johnstown. That show would probably be in Johnstown.
Johnstown or Indiana. If it's in Indiana, I can do it in Indiana. We can do the S&T Bank Arena.
Awesome.
2025.
I'm open-minded to anything. I have people reaching out to me all the time. Can we do this? Can we do that? I'm like, sure can. I appreciate that. Whatever you want to do. And and that's one thing over the years it's been really great to see is like ADP, the big, huge accounting firm. They do a massive fundraiser for us. Shenderovich and Fishman, you see him on TV.
Oh yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah,
I met them down at your golf outing. They're nice guys.
Yeah, and they just raised a bunch of money for us. And again, tailgate Red Lot 7B guys at the Steelers. They have a lobster fest in September for us. They raised like $15,000-$20,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just that's how we survive. We just from people having events for us, or we're having an event, and it's good stuff. Now, a lot of people ask, and for sure a lot of your listeners are probably thinking, how much do you give back to veterans? We give it back about 70% on a dollar, 70 cents on a dollar. And a lot of people are like, well, only 70%. I'm like, we have to understand.
What is people? But when people say that, what do they want when you're busting your ass and doing this? Like, I'm just sitting back and I'm like, I can't believe some people have the audacity to actually, you're busting your ass, you're doing stuff, you're networking, and they have the audacity to actually say in a negative mindset, hey, that's what. Like
I get it all the time. Why are you making $65,000? And I'm not afraid to say how much I make. It's public record. Our 990s are right on the website. I make $65,000 a year. Like, I'm not doing this for free. I mean, I work my ass off.
Right. You just named about 15 things that you've done on this show that promote and market and do this stuff. And believe me, and I praise you for that, because I do stuff, and whatever. I don't get paid at all, and I just keep trucking, and hopefully one day grace of God gets upon me and Shane and the people that help out in my organization. Hey, we all can grab a beer and buy some pizza that gets paid for.
I'm with you. It's just I enjoy doing what I'm doing. There are times I get frustrated though, but that's with everything you do. I think that's with anything you do. But
but if people would look it up, they would know that most organizations give back maybe 5-10%. I mean,
I think the Wounded Warrior Project, I can't, don't quote me on this, but I think it's like 15%. But their top 12 guys making 6 figures.
Big money.
Yeah, but they got millions of dollars. And I'm not going to bash them. They're helping veterans. They have that kind of money. Okay, I get it. But a lot of people, well, you're making 6. No, I am not making 6 figures. I make 6.
Well, you got to, and your taxes taken out, people. Yeah. I mean, I make the same amount working where I work, and I got to work all the time, and I get taxes taken out.
And I get a bonus at the end of the year, a couple $1,000. Basically, the board's like, hey, man, you work your ass off. We're going to give you this bonus. Okay. And half the time, I don't even want it. And they're like, oh, bullshit, you're taking it. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I don't do this for money. I mean, obviously, I could have gone somewhere else and, I have a lot of connections, obviously. I could be making a lot more money. I don't do this for money. I do this because God, I think, I always ask myself, sometimes I get frustrated, like maybe I should go do something else. And something would happen, like, no, you need to do, there's just something about like,
but you can't, because you're helping people that served, and it's just your help. Like Shane says, and he was down and out on that one. I mean, you helped him out. I mean, he always says that about you on your organization. I mean, he always brings that story up all the time.
Yeah. And that's what it's about. It's about helping people out. I mean, if you're down and out, hey, if I can help you in any way I can I promise it's going to be a lot of money or what we can do? No, I can't, because we're a limited budget, but it's about helping people out. I sometimes I just don't understand people. Like, why are you so angry? maybe it's my age. I don't know. I just sit there and say, man,
I get that too. I take some pills for mine though.
Yeah. I used to get angry on the hockey rink, but that's different. But and we're I think we're a nice small little nonprofit in the tri-state area, trying to help as many veterans as we can. And a lot of people say, well, how many veterans do you help per year? Well, it just varies. It could be over 100 one year. It could be 50 one year, just depending on who needs what. Like, for example, our therapeutic program has a budget. It runs out July 1st because everybody's going in there, getting the IVs, getting the trigger point because they're all in pain. Maybe they got blown up. Maybe they got shot at. Maybe they're just in pain. And they're using that to their advantage, which is great. And I've reached out to like UPMC and hey, could you donate some money? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay. And whatever. And if we had more money, we could add more money to those budgets. But I got to manage the money the best I can. You just can't run out of money, and then we have nothing. So, but it's good stuff, and I just hope it can continue to get bigger and better. That's all.
Well, it seems like from what you said in the history, man, you've done a lot of stuff, and I'm sitting back and I've been listening, and it's just, I mean, it seems like you're always busy, you're always giving back, and the guys that you're helping, then they probably want to be like you and help other people, so they probably pay it forward all the time.
Absolutely.
So those 50 guys that you helped that one year are part of the organization, and they're helping maybe 75 the next year.
Exactly right. And
it's all like this. Like I'm guessing it's all interconnected, and everybody probably knows everybody, and that's probably the good thing.
And as I said earlier, it's great to see that these guys, like I'll give an example, and Shane knows a couple of these guys, Josh Costello, Josh Reckengoss. They're both Marines, had no idea who they were, probably 8 years ago, and now they're best friends. They were in each other's wedding.
And Josh lives where I used to live.
Josh used to lives in Shane's old house now. And
wow.
So how crazy is that?
That is crazy. Small world.
So, and it's just that's the purpose of the organization is then bring people together. Now, sometimes bigger organizations, you're just a number.
Yep.
You know, and it's like, okay, beat it, see you later. You know, I don't want that. Like if somebody signs up, I'll email them. I'm gonna say, hey, man, I want to get to know them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I want to get to know you a little bit. I'll take them to Shooters in Wexford. It's like a mini Top Golf.
Yep.
Buy them lunch and just sit there and BS with them for a couple hours. I say, okay, dude, good to go. You let me know.
So anybody that's ever emailed you, Steve, you actually wrote them back and then talked to them face to face and actually had a conversation with everybody that's come in. So you actually know, which is a lot better than other organizations. Like you said, Dave.
Well, again, I'm a one-man show.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can't say that it's 100% I do that. Probably 75% of the time. I know 75% of the veterans. We have signed up with us over 500 veterans. So I probably know 75, but it's always the same guys half the time. So we're trying to recruit new people all the time. And a great story of this one is, so Brian Polk was Army, and he signed up about a year ago. And I always saw him at the gym, and he was always, I see your truck, man, it's awesome. What do you guys do? I told him, I'm like, sign up, man, and get involved. He never got involved, so he gets involved, right? So he loved it so much. Now we started a therapeutic program, part of the therapeutic program, an equestrian therapy for veterans. So I put him in, he wanted to be in charge. I'm okay. You're in charge of it. You do it. Again, keep me in the loop. I'm not going to micromanage it. And it's taken off like crazy.
Nice.
And just stuff like that. Like getting involved is all I'm really asking. Like, we have these events. They send out emails. Hey, we're doing this. We're doing that. Come on out. And, sometimes it's frustrating because sometimes it can be the same guys. But again, people have lives. They're busy. I get it. I'm old. I'm gross. I'm just happy to be here. I got grandkids. I told them go upstairs. We're down here. I want to be. I go no. Go upstairs. Beat it. But yeah.
But no. Steve does do that. He kind of like you said before. Reads the room, but he wants to kind of understand what exactly is going on with the vets. Now you can find out a lot in 20 minutes of talking to them. And they might not know what they need or what to ask for, but Steve will point them in that direction. Is that right, Steve?
Absolutely. Like, so when they sign up on the website, I get the email and, it says, ITW new member. I look over their 214, make sure they got honorable discharge. I send an email back. I say, hey, welcome to It's About the Warrior Foundation. Thank you for your service. Please go to our website, check out our programs, and maybe you can find one that best fits your needs. And then please check out our events page, come to the events page. So now they're in that mode. And then I usually, if I have the time, because again, I do a lot. Hey, I'd like to meet you such and such at Shooters in Wexford, take you to lunch, get to know you a little bit. Most of the guys say, yeah, some guys say, well, I'm busy. How about, and we'll schedule around. But, about 75% of the time that usually happens.
Have you ever had one incident where somebody you met, but they wasn't like, they didn't want to go that further step, you know what I mean? And they had to, you know what I mean? And you were telling them and they just like, I'm real apprehensive. I don't want to do it. And you're telling them all this stuff. Yeah. You're giving them the pitch and whatever, and you're being real with them. And they're like, no, I just don't think it's for me. And then they come back later.
Yeah, I've had that. Well, I've had both. It's not for me. Okay, great. No problem. I get it. But then there's guys, I don't want to do it. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, man, I'm going to get back involved. I'm like, okay, great. Like, look, man, I'm not going to get mad. It is. If you want to get involved, great. If you don't, it's okay. It really is. I don't do the red tape bullshit. I keep it simple.
Yep.
And good. Shane will tell you, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. If you F up, I'm going to tell you, I've kicked out probably 7 guys out of the organization because they were just insubordinate. And I give everybody 3 strikes and you're out. Now I sound like a teacher. But, I'm dealing with the guys that are in combat, PTSD, traumatic brain injury, anxiety, anger, depression. And I'm not a counselor.
Right.
And I understand that. And again, hey, look, I've been doing this for since 2011. If you go by, okay, over 10 years. And I've had phone calls in the middle of the night, guys want to shoot themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the first one I ever got, I was so caught off guard because I'm not a licensed social worker or psychologist.
Right.
And I'm like, you're going to do what? And, the kind of the military thing kicks in. Don't be a pussy, put the gun down. Well, that's not what you want to say.
No,
So,
you gotta work your way around it. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I did is I went back to school for the 900th time, and I took some psychology classes, and I met with our psychologist because we have a couple that volunteered time with us, and they taught me what to say and what to do in that situation. So, for example, I had a veteran call me about 6 months ago. He had a pistol to his head, and he was drunk, which doesn't help because it's like putting fuel on a fire. And he said, man, I've had enough. I'm in it right now. And I'm like, whoa. I go, wait a minute. And here's what gets him. What are you going to do if you pull that trigger? How do you think your kids, your 3 beautiful kids and your wife are going to feel? And then all of a sudden it goes dead silent. And then he starts crying and he's starting to think about, oh boy. So he's like, well, and he got all flustered. I go, here's what I want you to do. And this is a technique they taught me. I want you to go to the refrigerator and get an ice cube. He goes, what? What the fuck are you talking about? I go, am I allowed to say that word?
Yep. Oh, yeah. I'd say it all the time.
I don't want to get in trouble.
You're not getting me in trouble.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know. So anyway, so I said, go get an ice cube. He's like, what the fuck are you talking? I'm like, just go get an ice cube and come back. So I go, put the gun. I could hear him put the gun on the counter. So he goes, gets an ice cube. He goes, what am I doing with this? I go, now here's what I want you to do. I want you to just rub it on your arm. Just nice and slow, just rub it on your arm. And he's talking. And all of a sudden he goes, can I take this fucking ice? It's cold as shit. I go, no, just keep it on there. So what was happening was his brain was thinking about the cold and the ice cube. And he totally forgot about killing himself.
Oof.
And I said, you okay now? He's like, yeah. He goes, and then I just wanted to get the gun off him because his wife was in the background screaming, he's got a gun. I'm like, Jesus. And, everything I tell him is, dude, if you don't put the gun down, I'm going to 302 you. I'm going to call the cops and 302 you. And they get pissed when I say that. But I don't have a choice because I'll be honest with you, years ago, I had a kid, I didn't call the cops and he shot himself. So I had to live with that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. So, but how many folks have you saved since then? It's just amazing the venue you have and the fact that they thought about calling you. Just think if they didn't have you to call.
Yeah.
Would have happened. Families would have been affected.
It'd be way worse. So
yeah.
And then your number, they can call you at any time of day.
Yeah. And that's why my wife and I separated and we're still friends because she came up to me and she said, you know what? You're so dialed into these veterans, like you don't pay attention. And I felt bad, but that's a sacrifice that I made and people don't see that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it sucks because she's a great person. I'm getting all emotional.
Yeah.
That's okay. If you need some time to.
But no.
I'm good. It's just people don't realize the sacrifices you make. I'm trying to help these guys. And, it is what it is. But, my good friend, he lives in New Jersey. He's a Silver Star recipient. He's in the Battle of Wagez in Afghanistan. I don't want to give you his name. His first name's Mike. I'm not going to give you his last name because he'd probably come back to New Jersey and kill me. But he's a bad dude. All right. So he was in the Battle of Wagez. They were in a complex ambush. They were with the Polish, and they went down a choke point, and they got pinned down. He's in the MRAP vehicle or a Humvee, and RPG comes right in and blows the Polish soldier right out the window.
Ooh.
And another RPG. So he gets out of the Humvee and he's behind. And they're taking fire from up top. They had the high ground on him, or the Overwatch, whatever you want to call it, and they're just hammering down. And he hasn't gotten hit yet, and RPGs are coming in. So he runs around to the other vehicle and opens up the door to another Polish vehicle and pulls this guy out. And the guy had lost both legs.
Oh,
and he's applying tourniquets to him. So now he has to secure an LZ. and landing zone. So he runs. This is honestly good. You got to hear the story. You can YouTube it. The Battle of Juarez. He runs across the field 150 yards, doesn't get hit once to secure this landing zone. He got into one of the with a 50 cal on top. Choppers come in because they had already called earlier because somebody was wounded. He comes back, gets out of the vehicle, runs back to his position. Never got hit once. Well, for him, there was a dead little girl that he had to scoop up, because they're doing battle assessments after it was over. And he can't get over that girl being in his arms.
Mm-hmm.
So he calls me in the middle of the night, one night, this drunk out of his mind, and he's like, I can't take it anymore. I'm like, dude, I was on the phone with him for 4 hours. But that's the stuff people don't see. And it doesn't happen a lot, but when it does.
But it takes a special kind of individual to do that, because it's called SISM training, or, you know what I mean, to deal with traumatic experiences. And people don't want to open up when they have a traumatic experience.
Exactly right. Especially veterans. Shane will tell you that.
It's like rocks in a rucksack.
Yeah.
Like you'll take on, especially guys in leadership positions, they'll take on all these rocks from people. And then it gets to the point where they can't take it anymore and they just fall to their knees. And you don't know what's going to happen. When it happens, it happens. It's just muscle failure. Yeah. So what Steve does is takes these rocks, helping all these other soldiers and airmen and, and Marines, and it gets to the point where you have to take a break or find a way to unload your own rocks.
Absolutely. And one thing I tell these guys is, look, man, you're not in the military anymore. And the military kind of treats you, especially the Marines and the Army, if you ask for help, you're weak, you're a pussy.
Mm-hmm.
That's bullshit. That's total bullshit.
Right.
I tell these guys, get over this fucking tough guy image. It's okay to go to counseling. I go to counseling. I see once a month because I'm doing all this shit. And I'm working with these guys. So my guy at the VA is like, you need to come talk to me once. So just make sure you're okay. I'm good, but it's okay. Like, I just don't understand that mentality. Like, oh, fuck, I don't know.
Well, it's the tough thing, because when you're a little kid, boys weren't supposed to cry, and then now it's a little different. Or be emotional or whatever, how it goes. I mean, I think I'm more emotional now getting older than I was when I was a kid.
I am too, dude. I'm 59 years old, and I'm emotional. I'm an Italian too. I got to sit in the house.
Oh, I am too. Yeah, I'm Sicilian.
So am I. So
okay, yeah.
And I just say it the way it is, and Shane will tell you, I'm not holding back from anything, and I'm not being a dick. I'm not being condescending. I just basically sit them down and say, look, here's what happened. Here's the result, but and just calmly tell them it's the way it is. And you don't like my decision, being the leader, being the guy that's running the show, I got to make decisions.
Right.
Some people don't like those decisions. Sorry, I can't help please everybody, and there's things that I got to make decisions on. They're tough decisions.
Yeah, because you can't be a people pleaser.
Yeah,
when you're running charities and stuff like that, you have to be precise, and you're putting some of the money allotted for this and that, and some of the money can go here, and you got to make decisions on where that money's going, and people don't understand that. Like, and I don't think man, a lot of people probably couldn't do what you do, Steve. I could probably name 500 people that probably couldn't do what you do right now.
Well, when I appreciate that. But when I was first doing this, I had no clue what I was doing. But now I have a system. Like, on this day I do this, on this day I do that. So it's a nice little system, and it rolls. And I got, hey, look, here's all my notes, and I got notes galore. This is the list for that. I got this. I mean, I'm always keeping
preparation.
Notes.
Well, that's good.
And, we got our golf team. We got our golf outing coming up. Here's all the list of the teams. You got to get that.
Mary Hours gonna sing the national anthem? I'm sure Larry'd want to know.
Who's that?
Mary Hours, remember?
No, not this year. It's Christian Beck.
Christian Beck. There you go.
Yeah, my buddy.
Hopefully, it's not that girl that sung at the Major League Baseball game.
Yeah, was that pathetic or what? She said she was drunk.
Well, at least she held herself accountable, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. So,
But
wow.
yeah, but again, man, I'm just trying to help veterans and do the best I can.
Well, anything you have, like I said, and Shane can tell me. I mean, like I said,
So-
that's why I have this social media that I have. That
Yeah.
I like to do stuff to help people out. I know sometimes people give me a bad rap too, living in my area, and they don't understand, and blah 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 blah. But I mean,
You're always going to get that.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I can hold my head up high and do whatever. But no, I see the hard work that you have to do to put into this, and anything that we can do, with any type of events that you have, and I know we have the event on September, and I know a lot of people, like I said, I know a lot of people out there that are listening, and if you hit the replay, a lot of people I know likes to buy tickets, likes to buy and support the military, and I think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, and again, that's a great point. You go back to our events. The rest of the events coming up the rest of the year. So this weekend we have an archery shoot.
Yeah.
We have an archery shoot coming up this weekend in Beaver, PA. It's a 2-day tournament at Possum Hollow Gun Club. It's a pretty neat little run, pretty neat little event.
And everybody can check their website right there for all the information, guys.
Yeah. Wow. And then let's see. Next month's crazy. Next month we have the ADP golf outing on August 9th, and then we have the Rockabilly Ruckus in Ohio.
What's that?
It's the coolest thing. It's like a car show, and what they do is they have an auctioneer. Cassandra Seth comes in. She's from Butler here. She's an auctioneer, and these painters, they bring all these painters from around the country. There's like 18 of them, and people bring stuff in and they paint them. They paint on them, and then they auction the items off, and we get all the proceeds.
Oh, nice!
They've probably done this 5 years now. They've probably raised almost $100,000.
And where's this at in Ohio?
It's in Trumbull County Fairgrounds, Ohio. It's August 10 and 11. Let me check my calendar here, just so I don't give you a wrong date. August 10 and 11. And then August 16th is our golf outing at Old Stonewall. We got 30 teams.
Let me say, it is breathtaking how beautiful it was.
It was a great opening ceremony, and
the big stones they have on this just huge side of a hill. It's almost like a mountain.
That's a Friday. That's a Friday.
That's a Friday, yeah.
Yep.
We got 30 teams. A lot of our veterans are there playing in it. We honor 4 veterans. This year we're honoring Joey Muller, who's a Black Hawk pilot, Mike Dorsch, who was a Marine, and he's a cop at Northern Regional, Scott Reed Jr., who's Army. Actually, he's in Iceland, and he took one of our shirts.
Saw that.
And you see it, it's like the shirt Shane has on?
Yeah.
He was in Iceland, took a picture. He goes, IATW is in Iceland. So that was cool.
Nice.
I have your shirt and hat on a lot in these podcasts, Steve.
We got to get you a new shirt, new hat, dude. We got to get Bubba some.
I'll wear them. So realistically, when you do your golf outing, they probably fill up pretty quick. So your golf outings are like, hey, 6 weeks, 2.5 weeks, you're probably already filled, probably.
Yeah, what happens is we always ask the people that come every year to come back.
Sure.
And all of them do. But this year we had like 5. We always keep like 5 openings, and it just filled up like that.
I'm sure that's how it goes, because you can't wait around on your golf outing like that, because it seems like and it's a thing for everybody to, you know what I mean? It's for all those guys, and it's a good time, and everybody's just having a good time that day.
That's really all it's about. I mean, we have 30 teams, but 7 of them are veterans, and I don't even charge them. And it's $450 a person to play, because it's more of a corporate event. So the other teams are more corporate people,
right?
Corporation. Like we had a major sponsor to cover our costs, but 3 years ago we lost it. It's $30,000 for a corporate sponsor that covers all our costs mostly, and we lost that 3 years ago. So I'm like, you know what? It's about the experience. Who cares? Just let it go. So we don't really make a whole lot of money off the outing, which is fine. But hey, the Penguins. I mean, Mario signed a jersey for me. I got Carlson, Letang coming, jerseys. The Penguins donated a suite for 12, free food, free tickets, free food, free alcohol, free pop, whatever, to any game this year. We're going to auction that off, and then we have a ton of. I have a good connection with the Steelers. They TJ Watt jersey, so we have a lot of jerseys, a lot of great silent auction items as well. And it's a good event. And then the 17th. Go ahead. Man.
Interrupt, but for one of our fans, do you have any 19 or number 46, the long snapper, Christian Kuntz, by chance?
That I do not. But I can work on it. I can ask my guy at the Steelers. But I can't guarantee. I'm not going to guarantee anything. But
get that. Bob and me will bid on it for sure.
Yeah. So, and then we have the day after, we're at the West County Moreland. Is that right? What is it county? Westmoreland. Losing my mind. Westmoreland County Air Show.
Okay.
The 17th and 18th. So we're setting up a tent there to try to sell some of our gear. And then the following weekend, there's another event, and then we have a little bit of a break. We have Shane Ruan was a captain that was killed in a helicopter. He was a Black Hawk pilot. So they have a cornhole tournament for him. But I don't take the money from them. I donate to them. Like I'm their dinner sponsor because, it's nice receiving money, but I also like to help out the community. Like we'll sponsor some events. We'll sponsor some sports teams as well. And then you get into September, obviously we have our golf outing. Not our golf outing, Sportsman's Bash. You just had up on the screen.
Yep, and I'll have it up again right here.
Yeah, and that is at the.
How many tickets do you have for that? How many tickets can you actually produce for this?
I can produce as many as I can. We'd love to sell as many as we can because, like I said earlier in the show, we have a sponsor that's donated $40,000 to cover most of the cost. So we met on it's $50 for about 45.
I spend $40 to go to Sheets, Steve.
Yeah. I mean, it's if we can sell a couple thousand, it'd be great. It's $50. Again, it's all of the food and drink you can eat for 6 hours from 12 to 6. Doors open at 11. It's at the Pepsi Roadhouse.
Just having the experience.
Yeah,
just the experience alone. Yeah.
And it's right past Star Lake Amphitheater, where the big theater is. The amphitheater. You're right past the entrance. It's down there on the right-hand side, about 500 yards. And it's a big venue. It could probably, I think they get 700-800 people in there. Again, it's $50. It's hosted by Danger from Froggy Radio. We have 2 live bands. We have Morgan Gruber, who was on American Idol a couple years ago.
Nice.
And we have the Sweetwater Cottage Band, which Patrick Giardini, he's one of our IHW veterans. And it's funny, a story about him. He was a jerk. He was like, hey, man, you got to come out and check my band out. I'm like, okay, I'll come check it out. I'm thinking, I don't know. He's a great guy. He started singing. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, holy shit, are you good? I couldn't believe it. He come off the stage. I'm like, what the hell? Where'd that come from? Because he's a really quiet individual and a very, very motivated individual. Great guy. And I was like, shut, but they're awesome. And again, we have additional guns on the floor. Like the ticket, there's like $30,000 in prize money. There's some cash prizes with a knife, and then there's the guns, and then we have a couple bows in there as well. We have additional pistols on the floor, like $5, $10 tables. And it's a really good time. Again, it's beer. But you have to buy if you're going to want alcohol, you get to buy your own alcohol.
Right.
And last year we made a lot of money. This year I'm trying to make as much as we can. It's a great event. It really is. And you can get tickets at our website. There is a QR code I could send you. You can go around a QR code and get it.
Well, we're gonna put the link. I'm gonna put the link on this after because I'm gonna I replay these shows all the time.
Yeah.
And then I'll just I'm gonna just keep doing it because I have like 3 different Facebook sites. I got 2 YouTube channels. So anything I can do to, we throw it out there. And I was going to ask you, do you have in any counties, do you have like a representative in every county, or it's just you?
It's me.
Oh my God. That's tough work.
Yep. All you do is send me an email and I'll get back to you. It's a lot of work, but keeps me out of trouble. But
Steve responds really quick. I was surprised at how quick he responds.
Yeah, and again, what I say earlier, it's about communication. Like
I'm about that too. I love communication. I love to
drives me nuts. I'm like, why? Like, but anyway, it's all it is. It's about communication. But then you get into October, and I'm working on an event. It's going to be a shoot. We're going to call it a zombie shoot. We're going to have a Halloween theme.
Oh, nice.
And we're hoping it's going to be at the Millvale Sportsman's Club. If people like to shoot archery or weapons, pistol, long rifle. And we're going to split the proceeds to that James Ashbacher is telling you about, the Northern Regional Cop.
Uh-huh.
And us. And I actually have a meeting with the Sportsman's Club here a couple of weeks to talk about it. That would be in October. November is kind of quiet, to be honest with you. And then December, we go down to Arlington National Cemetery. And we're going to do the wreath ceremonies. They put them on the graves.
Uh-huh.
And then afterwards, they're having a big fundraiser for us at a sports bar right down the street. Last year we had it. I couldn't go last year because I had neck surgery, but they raised, I think, $17,000 for us. So
Mark says you never sleep then, Steve. You never sleep.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that because I was just at the VA today and they gave me some medicine to go to sleep.
Yeah, but me and Shane, we're definitely going to try to help you out and try to get some tickets from Indiana County.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
No. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
and talking about your foundation. You can come on here anytime. Anything you got to plug anytime. You just get a hold of us. Say, hey, Bubba Shane, I want to come on and plug something.
A regular occurrence this time every year.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Steelers talk's a little light. It's a good time to plug.
Yeah. There's not much Steelers talk because they signed a linebacker that they had from Buffalo. They had before, and we released somebody. And Steelers training camp starts the 25th at 10:30 a.m. That's my Steeler talk for today. Yep. So
it was funny you bring up the Steelers because I was in the gym today. I saw Jeff Hathorn from KDKA.
Uh-huh.
And he's a great dude. And I said, when are you going to camp? He goes, a week from today. I'm like, are you ready? He goes, nope.
Nobody's ready.
I'm like,
nobody, except for us podcasters. We're ready because we've been doing stuff for like 2 months and just pulling stuff out of the air.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because I'm ready for the Steelers. I'm ready. I've been a diehard all my life. So
same here. I love. Obviously, I coach high school football. Pro football. I like pro football. I like the Steelers. I'm more of a college football guy.
Oh, there you go, Shane's. That's his expertise.
So that's the Friday before I went out west. I did a show just usually I think a day ahead of what I'm going to do, a couple days. It was just spur of the moment. And I had the most views I've ever had on a show. It was like 800. And,
this is Shane's show right here, everybody. West Virginia Mountaineer Mafia.
Yeah. I hope they beat Penn State the first game.
I do too. And listen to this, Steve. I bought season tickets just so I could go to that game.
Yeah.
My son's team is playing on that Saturday.
Oh, boy.
I was like, you got to be shitting me.
Just sell them the burns.
That's tough. Yeah, but hey, by the way, for that Sportsman's Bash, again, just so everybody knows, you do not have to be there to win.
Right.
So, but if you win, you have to call an FFL where you live, and you have to get the gun. Our guns are from Sportsman's Supply in Butler.
Yep.
You have to coordinate that, and you have to get that shipped down to your FFL. So that would be on you if you won. But if you win, I'll contact you probably the next day or a couple of days after. We put a list on social media. And when you buy your tickets, just so everybody knows, because people have been emailing me, you buy a ticket, all the tickets are going to be mailed out at the end of August. We still got 2 months.
Okay.
Well, people, relax. We got 2 and a half.
I'm getting one. I know I'm getting one.
I appreciate that, man.
No. Seriously. I'm like you. If I say I do something, I do it. Yeah. And I don't win anything anyway. I never do. My dad does. My dad's a winner all the time.
Right.
And I'm going to tell my dad about this too. And I want to tell me and Shane, I know a lot of my boys, some guys were in the military, and some of the guys just like this kind of stuff, and
Yeah,
I'm
right.
going to put it out there as much as I can. So
Absolutely. But I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm trying to find this picture of James Harrison and me.
It's on Facebook. I saw it on Facebook.
Maybe you can find. I can't. I'm brain dead half the time. I can't find it. But
I'm the same way, Steve.
Oh, I've seen the picture.
I see. So, I know I have it here somewhere. But yeah, I mean, it's all good stuff. And anybody's interested in the organization, I always tell everybody, do your research. Make sure you want to get involved. Make sure you want to make a donation. And I'll give you a quick story here. You guys got to go. I don't know.
Nope. I'm good.
But I had a lady. She wanted to donate $20,000. Okay, and she called me up and she said, "Well, Larry Richard told me about," and I said, "Okay, I appreciate that, but here's what I want you to do: do your research." I said, "Don't make that donation unless you're 100% sure. If you have any doubt in your mind, I get it." No, she goes, "Nobody's ever said that to me." I'm like, I just want people to understand that
you're up front.
I'm up front. Like, I'm not gonna get pissed if you don't donate. If you donate $5, great. I'm still gonna send you a thank you letter. And going back to that, I always send a thank you letter out. I had a little old lady on my block, right? She would walk down the mailbox every month and put a check, $10 check. I said, "Would you stop giving me $10?" Like, I mean, she's probably 90 years old. She passed away. Ended up in her will, whatever you want to call it, $20,000 check. Just because I sent her that letter, and at 10 times $120 a month, I sent her a letter. Hey, thank you for. Next thing you know, it turned.
That means something, though.
Exactly right. And a lot of people will tell you that. That's what Larry Richard, who's a great friend of mine from KDKA, said. Hey, you know why people like you? Because number one, you're transparent, you communicate, and you always say thank you. You always send letters. That's just common sense to me.
Right.
And again, I'm not a businessman, dude. Like my background is in teaching and education and coaching high school football. I'm not the smartest guy in the world.
I'm not either. I have a couple concussions, football and wrestling.
Yeah, it's common sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but my wife says the same thing, Steve. Because on this show, I usually say hello to everybody, and my wife is like, "You make people feel like something."
Yeah,
babe, Bubba, you make them feel.
Yeah,
because you always, and I was in the bar business for a long time, so you always wanted to have everybody be a VIP, even though they didn't have to pay VIP privileges.
Anytime I'm going to have to come up to Indiana because the truck has not been in Indiana yet. I might have to come up there and have a beer with you.
Well, we might have to do something. We might have to do something in Indiana here, Shane.
Park in front of them that are owned by people that support our channel.
Yeah.
That jump on board supporting,
and we could take them out to Timmy Military Depot out here over the hill. Go out there and see old Tim Jervicki. He's pro military. Yeah.
I mean, we got a Marine. I got a Marine up in Evansburg. It's close to you, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's about a half hour away.
Justin Schilling, and he's coming down to play in our golf outing.
Yeah.
So, it's good stuff, and
we appreciate you coming on. Like,
I appreciate.
I mean, and just doing and giving the whole history, the whole back history of what you're doing with this and how you started. And that right there is huge. And like you said, and you talking to people and talking to people that call you up late at night and doing what what you have to do, because that's the kind of I don't know you, but to me, you just sound like a good mother, a good fucking dude.
Well,
I don't know you, but it just seems from just talking to you and you being real and you know what I mean. That's what I get.
And I appreciate that, Bob. I really do, and vice versa. But Shane will tell you, what I tell people is when they call me, don't ask me what we do. Get a hold of one of our veterans, call them up, and ask them what the foundation's done for them. And then you're going to get right from the horse's mouth. I could sit here and talk, we do this, we do that, and people, you're arrogant. I'm not being arrogant.
No, I don't think so.
We made a video. It's on our website from the veterans doing testimonials of what we've done for them. I mean, and everybody said, "Well, you did it." No. Look, they made great decisions. Like, I didn't save anybody's life. I don't look at it that way. I look at it like I led you to the water, you drank it, and you made a great decision. And Shane will tell you there's a bunch of guys. I'll give you his first name, Jason. You know who I'm talking about, probably. He drank all the time. He was obnoxious, and I finally told him, dude, we gotta talk. Like, if you keep drinking, you're out. I said, I'm not dealing with this, because we were at a Steeler game.
All right, can't have that.
Al Villanueva is a good friend of mine, and he had 70 tickets for us, and he had a tailgate in the parking lot for us. Mission Barbecue came and cooked for us. It was unbelievable. We go into the game. We're sitting at the game, and they're playing Kansas City. But this was before Mahomes got there.
Okay, that's when we beat him. That's when we beat him, then.
Yeah. So I'm sitting in the stands, right? And it was hot as heck. And I'm like, I'm going to go back out in the parking lot. I like pro football. It's just so boring to me. But anyway, because having coach, I watch football a different way, being an offensive coordinator.
Being a coach, it's different.
Yeah, I totally think of it different. But anyway, all of a sudden I get a tap on the shoulder. And I look up, and she says, "Are you in charge of these guys?" I'm like, "Oh, shit." I go, "Yeah, kind of. What happened? Your guy dumped a big beer right on my daughter. She's 8 years old." I'm like, "You got you're fucking kidding me." So I get up, I go over, and he's sitting there. I tap him on the shoulder. I go, "Get the fuck out of this stadium right now before I throw you over this railing." He's like, "Are you mad?" "Oh, yeah, I'm mad." Get the fuck. And I told my one buddy, I go, "Take him with you." So they went out in the parking lot. So I go down to the pro shop at the game and bought this little girl like a couple $100 worth of clothes and hats and stuff. Brought it back in a bag, and she's like, "You didn't have to do that." I go, "Bullshit." I go, "Look at your daughter. She's drenched in beer." I mean, you know how big those beers are.
Oh yeah.
So now I'm still pissed. So I go out in the parking lot. He's sitting there. He knows I'm pissed. He's like a little kid, you know. He's like this. And I walk right up to him. I go, I pull the seat up, and I go like this. I go, "Look, I'm going to tell you something. That was embarrassing, because, you know, you see the logo on Shane's shirt.
Mm-hmm.
That's the brand. You can't ruin the brand."
Right.
Okay. And if you ruin a brand, this organization's fucked. I go, "And you just fucked us." I go, "And I'm pissed." I go, one more time, and you're done." Oh, he apologized. So, in a great story, what it comes out to is he quit drinking. He's been exercising and doing these 26-mile runs, these marathons. He's like a totally different person. And I told him, I was honest with him. I said, "Dude, the guys don't want to be around you because you're so obnoxious."
Is his name Brian Burns?
No.
Okay, because we have a buddy. I have a buddy just like you described.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get it. And
I'm just like, well, when I told him, and he needs this organization, he's one of those guys that needs this. I said, because he loves the interaction with the guys. I said, "I'm telling you, you're out." And he was like, he just froze. He like he's a totally different person. But that's the point I'm trying to make to these guys. I know we all have issues, but you can't ruin the brand. You can't go to
when you have it on, like Shane, you said, on Shane's shirt, you have to uphold. You have to uphold, everything.
And then
I understand.
Yeah, people call me, "Hey, I was at a strip club and I saw some guy with your shirt on." I'm like,
I can't be doing that shit.
Yeah, no. Like, what do you want? I mean, and that's what I tell the guys: if you're going to a bar, if you're going to wherever you're going, don't wear the stuff. But if you're going to wear it, act like a professional, act like a human being, and that's a great story with Jason, because he's such a lovable, caring guy, and to see him just transform into a guy that nobody wanted to be around, because guys would come right up to him. I'll give you another quick story. I'm at the Penguin game. I took him to a Penguin game with two special forces guys. They're friends of mine. Those two were so pissed off at me for bringing him.
He ruined your night. Ruined the night.
It was my one buddy, SF, then Jason, then somebody, then me. And they were texting me. And they're like, "Get me the fuck away from this guy. I'm going to fucking choke him." And I'm like,
I've been down that road before.
Yeah. And, he finally got it. And now
that's good, though.
it's awesome. It's just great
Yeah.
to see. And I love the guy, and he's
Well, that's good redemption. That's a good redemption story right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's like trying to get around these guys.
How did you meet Sean? I know I've heard the story before. Sean, how did you meet him? I mean, he's a world famous turkey hunter. This guy has been everywhere and shot every bird.
Well, Smitty, Sean Smith is his name. I lived in Shakora. He lived right down the road from me.
Okay.
And my wife and his wife were friends too, because they all lived in Shakora together. I lived in Butler. And I know a lot of guys. He's a corrections officer, and I know a lot of guys at the prison as well. And it kind of introduced him to me and kind of hit it off. And he's hilarious. You know, I mean, he's.
Bubba, we doubled up on turkeys. Okay.
Okay.
And that's the first turkey I ever shot. And just to be funny, I got behind them, and because it's prom season when turkey's in season, and we got prom pictures.
I mean, he is just.
Well, you're crazy anyway, Jane. So I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. But actually, Smitty and I drive out to Wyoming together every year to go hunting. So it's him and I in a truck for 12 hours, because we drive to my property in Missouri. That's halfway, 12 hours, and then another 11 hours to Wyoming. And we're just talking, shooting shit like late. And both our wives were like, I would kill somebody if I had to be in a car for them for 23 hours, you know. And then the truck broke down.
Oh, no.
In the middle of South Dakota. It was a shit show.
Your truck or Sean's truck?
What's that?
Was it your truck or Sean's truck?
Yeah, it was the truck you put on air earlier.
Oh, man. What happened to it?
The spark plugs were cracked.
I love this truck. I tell you what, this is a bad.
Put it back up again. That's
I'm
amazing.
telling you, I am. This is a bad. This is a bad motherfucking truck.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a Ford truck, that's where to get it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Barrel donated that truck. It has 150,000 miles, and I'm trying to get a new one, not a brand new one, but an updated one on them. So we'll see.
I signed on to your Facebook site, and I had to take. I took the picture off your site. I was like, oh, this is badass.
Yeah. The only thing is, fellas, to be honest, this time and age, and I've been warned by, I've been threatened by the Mujahideen, a couple years ago on Twitter. I think Shane, you saw this. They sent an Arabic message to me. And I know some people in three-digit agencies, and I said, "Can you get this, interpreted for me?" And they called me back, and I said, "Well, I'm going to be honest with you, because they say they're coming after you and your veterans. Just have your head on a swivel." I'm like, "Dude, I got a pistol on my hip all the time. I got a pistol right by my leg in a truck, and I got my 300 blackout right behind my back." So
how? I mean, I understand how,
well,
but I mean,
it's the hatred for the military. It's the hatred of the American flag, because you see the flag, right?
I know. Okay.
And I'll be honest with you, I've had people drive by me, give me the finger. People spit on the truck.
In your own hometown.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
It's not all sunshine and roses being a veteran. I mean, people don't. But
they can't do what you guys have done.
Yeah.
And then they want to, and they have that right to do what they do because of guys like you.
Yeah. And they're tough guys. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's just,
that's bullshit.
I had the truck before this, and you can go back on social media and look at it, was night vision. So it was all green.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Nice. That's nice too.
Yeah. And I come out one day, and somebody had taken a knife and just went right down the side and in the back of my tailgate.
What?
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. And I said, well, what happened was I reached out to my buddy at Northern Regional, who's a sergeant. He said, "Hey man, put a camera in your truck." So I put a camera in the truck just in case.
Uh-huh.
But I said, if I ever catch somebody doing that, I asked him, what can I, and I know a lot of state troopers too. I'm like, what's the word I want to use?
Maximum level of force I can use without.
And he just looked at me. He goes, "Well, don't shoot him." He goes, "Just beat the shit out of him."
I just can't comprehend. Like you're driving your truck here and you're just parking it and people are scratching it and spitting on it and see that
I've been told
irritates me.
I've been told by just after this weekend with the Trump thing. I met with my two buddies yesterday, which again I don't want to tell you.
Right, I understand.
And he said, they both looked at me and they said, "Dude, you got to be careful with that truck. And I go, I know, because of the American flag and they hate veterans. Because I'm just telling you.
I just can't.
I just got a new car and I'm not putting Purple Heart plates on it.
Why? Why?
See, I disagree. You should do that, dude. That's bullshit.
Because if my kids are driving it, then I don't want them to be brought in.
Yeah, that's true. I thought of that.
My kids are getting
it messes with a Purple Heart recipient.
Dude, you would be shocked. You'd be surprised.
I am shocked because
I had a guy trying to fight me, pulled a gun on me, Kataning. I had like an old Mercedes. I mean, I'm talking old.
I know we're getting off the tangent here, but still,
and I was Kataning Walmart, or not Walmart, Sheets.
Was this recently? Is that the one you were told me?
Service dog. And it was on Veterans Day,
yep.
And this fat guy was walking by my car and he hit it with his hand, and I thought I hit him. So I opened the door. I'm like, "Did I hit you?" Like real nice. He said, "Stay in your fucking car. I'll kill you." Well, I grabbed my gun, and he
See you, Mark. Thank you.
He had a little 380 or something on his hip. I didn't even let him get it out. I pushed him on the ground, and of course, my wife and kids are screaming.
I just can't.
But,
I just can't.
I told me he's going to kill me. So when the cops came, they're like, "He threatened you. You're
yep.
nothing. There's no problem with it here. And the video confirmed it all. But I mean, people are nuts and they want to start shit.
I'm a big dude. I mean, I'm over 6'2", 300 and some pounds, and I can't see. I mean, I'm going to get into a fight if I seen somebody spitting or scratching somebody's vehicle because nobody has the balls to face anybody. Like,
it's like you see people burning the American flag.
I can't. I
hope to God I don't see that because I'm going to go crazy.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not into that either. Like that's just and yeah.
The world's gone mad, fellas.
Yeah, we're trying to stay calm and have common sense.
Yep.
And there's no common sense unless there's people that have common sense.
Right. And I've had people, like I said, but I'm heavily that inside that truck is heavily armed. I got my flat, I got everything there.
I don't blame you.
I'm ready. If you want to sling it, I'll sling it. Let's go.
Yeah, I have a gun for every car. Like, hey, this revolver fits in this console a lot better than it fits in my gun safe.
Well, people just sometimes people need when they have it. Some people need smacked in the mouth. Sometimes
they do. I mean, and again, it is going back to the foundation, and I appreciate you guys having me on there.
Sure.
It's a great little foundation. Again, not a lot of money. It's I manage it well. We do the best we can with what we have, and sometimes the veterans get frustrated because we don't. This program runs out, but there's nothing we can do. I always tell them, hey, go on, try to find a corporate sponsor who wants to donate a big check.
It's hard. I do wrestling, Steve. It's hard, man. I'm glad that people donated on my first show, and I got some little donations on my second sponsors, and God bless them for all the sponsors that actually sponsored the show in August. And but yeah, it's hard. It's just hard.
It's a competition because you're battling other nonprofits.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I wanted to thank Beryl for donating the truck as well. So I'm hoping to maybe get an updated truck because that one has a lot of miles on it. But if not,
it looks good though.
Yeah,
it does look good. It does look good.
It's awesome. I mean, that guy. It's funny because I put that wrap on last September. I had neck surgery, so I dropped it off, and I was in the hospital for 2 days. Hey, I'm done. I'm like, you're done already? He's like, yeah.
Doesn't take that long to prep it. Usually, that's fast.
I mean, it was fast, but it came when I went and picked it up. I was like, wow,
it looks great.
Yeah, so it's good stuff. It's good. It's a good advertising.
Yeah.
Coming on, Steve.
Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
One more time here. We're going to, give them a plug here for their the Big Giant September 28th, 2024 at the Pepsi-Cola Roadhouse. $50 tickets. You don't have to be there, but if you do show up, you'll have one hell of a time. Live music, free food, and free beer, and you can't beat that.
If you don't know where it's at, it's by Star Lake Amphitheater, right? Like a half a mile before it. You can't miss it.
Anybody from Indiana, get a hold of me. We'll you guys get some tickets. I'll be sharing them on my social media, doing anything I can. And like I said, Steve, anything you got, just let us know, and we'll be more than happy to plug it for you.
Absolutely. Hey, fellas, I really appreciate it. Can't thank you enough. It's great stuff here.
Oh, we appreciate you coming on. So everybody, look at it's the Warriors Foundation.
It's all about the Warriors.
All about the Warriors. And just get those tickets.
Right.
September, they got a big shindig. Big shindig. Catch them on Facebook. I will have the link on the website, and I will be sharing it on my social media. So
you got the website's iatw.us, and you can go on our Facebook page. We're on Twitter or on Instagram.
And then there's the email. I'll have the email also if you guys want to email Steve and ask questions, or actually if you want to give donations and stuff like that. So
you're right on the webpage. All good.
Yeah. So, okay, everybody. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks,
everybody, we'll be back next Wednesday at 9:00. Shane, I'll see you. Everybody, have a great night and a great weekend. Thank you guys so much.